Michael Stephens is a researcher at the Royal United Services Institute. He joins us here on set. Hello again, Michael. Now, President Obama does not need to do this. He does not need to seek congressional approval to take military action. Why do you think he's going down this road?
I think, as we've already previously discussed, there is an issue about legitimacy of government making decisions about military intervention. I think what you have to do is disarm this sort of spectre about the UK or the US or the West just taking decisions undemocratically without going through approved processes. I think it's a trust-building exercise. I also think that Obama has looked at what happened in the United Kingdom. He saw that Cameron had obviously suffered quite grievously from the defeat that has happened, and there's a huge political debate there. I don't think Obama would have made this move if he didn't think that there was a good chance that this vote would go through and that he hadn't done some of his homework first.
But Congress has been against military action, hasn't it?
Yeah, but there's quite strong lobbies at the moment pushing pretty hard in Washington, D.C. And there seems to be a very, very strong move at the moment towards a much stronger line, a strong attack, if you like, and certainly those were the signals I was picking up from a couple of people I was speaking to today. I don't think Obama would put his credibility on the line quite like this unless he was very foolhardy or very smart. And so I think it's a difficult position that they're finding themselves in here. But obviously I think that it's very, very important for Obama to appear like he's going through the right set of processes before taking this action.
You said trust building. That would be trust building among Americans, right?
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, but then obviously it's I think we've all suffered from this a little bit. I mean, the Brits did and the Americans in terms of the evidence that was presented in Iraq in 2003, and even a decade later we're still concerned about those issues. Although everyone seems to have forgotten that Libya happened, so I don't know what on earth happened there. But anyway, the point is that I'm afraid that this lens is being put onto the Syria issue. It needs to be seen to be justified by representatives, and that way at least people feel like they have a voice.
But what happens if Congress says no?
Well, it's very damaging. If that happens, I think Barack Obama can forget trying to be assertive in the region for the end of his term, and I think that would be also bad for the region itself. I'm not sitting there advocating for a strike. What I'm saying is that the political machinations that would go on in D.C. would be very complex, and I think that there would be numerous splinter factions starting to look for their own types of foreign policy that they could push. There are already small groups of politicians, senators in particular, that are pushing very hard on certain issues, particularly in the Middle East, at the expense of the White House, which has taken its own line on many issues, particularly on Syria. And I think that would be even more damaging to Barack Obama's credibility.
But Congress could say no, and President Obama could still decide to go ahead with that military action, couldn't he?
It would look very strange if he did. I think that it would be, for a president to do that, he has the executive authority to do it. David Cameron didn't, so I think that's a very, very important thing to note. The same with the French system. The presidential system allows for that type of executive authority to be actioned. However, I think that politically it would be so damaging. And of course, you know, with the US, they have frequent election cycles, unlike in Britain. So I think it would be extremely complicated and difficult for Obama to then move forward on a number of foreign policy issues.
Couldn't this move also suggest that Obama is undecided about what to do?
Yeah. And I think that the decision wasn't taken even today. Although it was interesting that he had come out, and what surprised me about the speech was how forceful Obama was. He was sort of, you know, moving his, you know, tub-thumping speech and saying, I've decided that, you know, militarily we should take this decision. That is strong leading from the front that I haven't seen from Obama recently, frankly. Kerry was doing it yesterday, but he doesn't sell it quite so well. So it's interesting that Obama has suddenly come out with this Rose Garden speech, and he's really sort of pushing ahead from the front here. It's brinkmanship, but I do think it's calculated brinkmanship. I don't think he's just jumping into hot water without thinking.
All right, Michael. Thank you once again. Michael Stephens with the Royal United Services Institute.
Thank you.